Check, check. Are you hearing me? All right, that sounds better. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you. Sorry, I'm still figuring this platform out, so it's taking a little bit. But you know, taking the training wheels off, learning to swim, and all the other stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh my God!
That's right. That's right. Hey, welcome on in. And hey, I'm figuring some things out, and I want to say hi to everybody who's here. And you guys, please do me a favor, all my faithful mods, please share this with your friends and I don't know, with everybody to let them know we're over here and live because I don't know how this works. I don't know how to get people here, but man, we're doing okay because I think that we're starting to get some people subscribed at least, and I don't know if they're getting notifications, but they're getting here. So I really appreciate that. And please get some people over here too. You know, the people who want to be here. Um, but I'm glad to see everybody. Let's see. So I guess I'm going to go for the most current back because like I say, I'm learning to swim here. So let's see. We got yeah, please hit subscribe while you're here watching. But we got Sweet Dude Shibby. Sweet Dude Shib is going to be in charge. Okay, he's going to be my head mod here on Twitch. Thanks a lot, Shib, for being here. We got Shibby, we got RSGME, Heavy Heather Brown, Silence Woman. Hey, you over here? Imagine that. You made it. Okay, you made it to Twitch. We got Mr. Dr. Corbeau. Good to see you, Doctor. Okay, we got J Rabbit. What up, J Rabbit? Send me an email, J Rabbit. Deeper73. Rebecca Ann. Hey, what up, Rebecca? And Lisa, I think, is here. If that's Gourmet Dog. Okay, and we got Lita Joe. You guys, I don't know who's who with the different names. I'm forgetting. And we got Happy Marigold. Okay, we got and that looks like it in the old chat. Everyone lurking, please join the chat. I don't care if you don't like me. Join the chat. You might like the chatters. We got It's a Different Day. How are you? We got a bunch of people. Okay, so welcome on in, everybody. Oh, that's Carol. What up, Carol? What up, Carol? I got some good things to share with you today. Let me see. Are you It's a New Day? It's a Different Day? Okay, hold on a minute. I'm thinking, okay, I'm thinking Shibby may have a better idea of how to get us to know who's who. So yeah, just listen to Shibby, okay? Chili, I call it. Can we call you Chili now? Because you're chill. All right, just listen to Chili, y'all. He's gonna tell you what to do to make yourself identifiable. But yeah, just listen to him. Um, I don't know about emails. Let me check them now. I'm kind of behind on my emails, to be honest with you. Past day or two, it's been real busy. Uh, but I'm glad to see everybody, regardless. And yeah, so we made it. Man, it's just a miracle that I even made it. I got to tell you. Um, it's a miracle I made it because I was so busy today that I'm just screeching on into my seat and hitting go with the camera. But I'm glad to see everybody here. Remember, this is our hangout. I'm going to go ahead and put the link up. And this is for anybody who wants to join. Let's see. I'll put this up. And I'm going to try to pin it. How do I pin it? Let's see. I'm going to try to pin that. Can I pin it? All right. All right. I think we got us pinned, possibly. Let me see. So we're good to go. All right. All right. So welcome on in. We got 20 watching. So thanks to the 20 who are watching. Appreciate you watching. If you're here for drama, don't worry, get a little bit of that too. Whoa, so where do I start? I don't know. I talked to Noe today. Okay, I did talk to Noe today. So I'm gonna share a little of that with you because after we talked a minute, I hit the record at his request because he wanted me to share a little bit of the phone call with you guys. So we got that. And we got a little stalking. I don't know if you saw my short on YouTube, but if you were at YouTube, you might have seen my short. We got a little Thanks 13 stalking. Another episode of stalking. So I'm gonna show you that. And all kind of stuff like that. Um, and hopefully someone will click the link and come join me. Remember, this is not about a show. This is about a little time for us to hang out. So that's what this is. So hopefully we'll do a little sit down, hang out, and we'll get out of here before we all get too tired. I'm glad to see everybody. But let's see. I guess first of all, let me show you. Maybe let me show you my documentation of stalking. Maybe that'll be a good way to start. Um, let's do this. Let's see. First, we're going to do this. How about this? I'm going to bring this up. Oh, just so much to do. What's the Willy Wonka quote about him being so busy, so much to do, and blah, 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 blah? No, scratch that. What's the Willy Wonka quote? I don't have it memorized. But you guys remember this from yesterday? All right, this is Noe's letter from yesterday, okay? Pay attention because Noe turned out to be pretty prophetic. It's pretty awesome. So Noe said, "To who it may concern, I've been made aware of certain individuals planning to attend my upcoming court proceedings on today. And the following individuals are promoting and publicizing on social media platforms, mainly YouTube. Chomo, Stanks, Stalking All the Dogs, and Karen to attend my hearing when the transport van arrives and cause chaos and bodily harm against me upon my arrival to the court building. If you have any questions regards to this issue, feel free to contact inmate advocate and YouTube host, the awesome Dirty Diana, and or YouTube moderator, the lovely and infamous Carol, at the contact information provided below. And thank you. Okay. So with that being said, this is what happened here. Okay. Oh, who do we have here? Who do we have here with the camera up and recording? Check it out. Who's next to the car with the camera recording and aimed at the person walking through the parking lot?
Hmm?
Got a whole thing for me.
Yeah, they do.
Well, go figure, Wabash County. Come on, man. It's never changed.
These are Noe's friends. Oh, and look, he spots the stalkers. So he turns around. He turns around and decides to go confront them. So watch this.
They bring?
Are you looking for somebody?
I thought there were supposed to be a couple other people that were coming to court today.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I don't think my person is here either.
I don't think my person's here either.
But I know that
Oh, look at that. Who's that with the cane? Who's that with the cane? Holding a fag, leaning on a car with the camera phone in the hand. Who's that? Who is that?
they bring the girls separate. If you're looking for a chick, there's another one.
No, I was with my cousin. Okay, all right, well, have a blessed day.
Too, darling. Thank
You too, darling.
Okay, all right, well, have a blessed day.
you. Too, darling. Thank you.
You too, darling. You too, darling. All right. So who do we have here? Boy, seems like Noe was not lying. Seems like Noe was not lying. Busted. Busted. Stalker behavior 101. And remember, bring it on back because realize that camera was up before he even spotted them. Watch this. Watch this. See the camera? See the camera up? See the camera? That camera is up and filming. Are you guys recording everyone in the parking lot? Wow, that's weird behavior. Did you guys literally sit there, hide behind the car, smoke a handful of cigarettes, and record everyone walking through the parking lot? How fucking bizarre. I guess that's what it's like when you collect unemployment and disability. Sit on your ass smoking meth all day, suck down as many cigarettes as you can, and stalk people all around the state of Indiana, like you did Kathy and Janice Allen. That's how it goes in old Delphi land. Yeah. But pretty undeniable, isn't it? Pretty undeniable. And it gets better because these skanks, when the hearing was finished, these skanks made their way around to the other side of the building and attempted to film Noe getting out of the courthouse into the transport van. So you gotta love it when they just play right on into your hands. See, we knew this was going to happen, and so we ensured to have it documented. And there you go. It's on film. Concrete proof. Anyway, we got that, okay? Now let me do this too. We're going to do this one. We're going to play I'll let it play again. And I'm going to get Noe's recording out. Let me get that for you. Let's see. You guys bear with me here. Hopefully you guys can hear Noe, okay?
So, everything went well today. I think I texted, or no, I text you, but you didn't get it. I had sent a couple of texts out to certain people, letting them know, like Diana, Richney, and Julie Porpich, letting them know what the offer was, which was a really good offer for me, right? Because I had 4 violations. So the important thing to know here is that my misdemeanor charge got dropped. So the misdemeanor charge, which was the trespass at the house that caught fire, that charge got completely dropped, and that's a huge win for me. Okay, and then the other violation, which was the entering a place where they sell alcohol, that was debunked or not taken into consideration because it was just misinformation, really. So the ones that stuck were the 2 other violations which I owned up to, and they offered me 6 months, which at this point I am 3 months in. So I only have 3 months left. So that was a huge win because I was potentially facing 16 months. 18 months, year and a half. So that's a huge.
Good.
Well, oh,
That's a great deal. You know,
question. What are the two you pled guilty to?
uh, the other two, I'd rather not discuss, but
Okay, okay.
they have to they have to do with I owned up to them because
Oh, I
I
see.
had no
Hey,
choice.
question about this. What are the two that were dropped? Were those both the result, the two frivolous charges? Were those both the result of troll farm reporting?
Yes. Well, the first one, which was the trespass charge, a misdemeanor charge, that was when Jinx 13 and Rescue All the Dogs re- re- uh, reported reported me entering a house that caught fire. So that was a trespass charge. Okay, that misdemeanor got dropped completely. So I won't have to do any time on that at all. The prosecutor dropped that in
Okay.
exchange for owning up to my other two violations, which I did, right? And then the second violation, which was entering an establishment that sells alcohol, which it was a winery dash bistro, and I was there to perform music. That one was not taken into consideration. It was it was more of a technical violation, and my attorney did a great job in saying, look, it was like a misunderstanding where he went there to play music and he was at the bistro, not at the winery bar.
Do you
They
think
had a
that one was
separate bar.
reported by the troll farm?
That one was reported by Anthony Greeno. He had
Okay.
the nerve to send me a text and make fun of me for that violation.
Okay.
Uh,
Gotcha.
the other two violations were I owned up to them because it was I'd rather not discuss them in public. My counsel has advised me not to, and at this point, if anybody has any questions about my personal legalities, I guess they can contact Frank Meister or Anthony Greeno. They seem to know more than me.
Hmm. Are you aware that they published your letter on the community page to mock and harass you?
I was made aware of that yesterday.
Okay.
Uh, I sent a text, and I was told that it had gotten leaked and that Frank Meister had published it on a community post. Um,
Okay. And
I sent that letter to a certain amount of people um, as a private letter, but once it made it to the courthouse, I guess it became public record.
well, I see that your concerns in the letter were indeed justified because today I received a video of two stalkers mentioned in the letter recording individuals coming into the courthouse. So it does seem
Yes,
that your
yes,
claims were
those,
justified. Your concerns were justified.
yes, they were, and I want to thank the Wabash County Sheriff and the Wabash County Jail Commander who were there. They escorted the van, and they were there to walk me in and walk me out. Uh, I also want to mention that when I walked out, they were still there, and they had parked on the south side of the building, which is where the transport van, pulls up, and they were in their vehicle recording the van.
Okay, just I'm pausing it for a moment because that's where he's telling me about these two idiots here going around to the south side of the building to record him coming out of the building and going into the transport van. So yeah, that's that.
Recording the van, so
I see.
they got some footage of me, which
They
will
were
probably
still
come out
recording.
soon.
So they were recording both before and after in an attempt to stalk and harass you. Okay. All right.
Absolutely. At the very least, stalked me. They certainly stalked me for sure. I don't know if maybe an attempt to harass, but they didn't really harass me. But for
Well,
certain, sure.
s- I'm sorry this is happening to you, Noe. I mean, it's very clear to me that these individuals have exhibited a concerning pattern of stalking going back quite some time. And it's highly concerning that the state of Indiana allows this.
Well, Prof, also let me mention, Prof, that in 2020, 24 last year, when Jinx had taken me to court in Tippecanoe County, Judge McVeigh with the Tippecanoe County Superior Court 5 advised her to um, stay away from me, and she advised that we both stayed away from each other, and if we did run into each other, to grow up and treat each other with respect. The reason I'm bringing this up is because Jinx has done the complete opposite of that. She has come to my county of residence all year long, dating back to March, when my personal legalities started with my own, with the trespass charge, etc. She has attended, her and Rescue All the Dogs have attended every single court proceeding dating back to March up until now. What are we now, October? At least 5 proceedings since then. They even showed up to a proceeding on, I think August the 14th, I believe, to a court hearing where I was not even required to attend. It was a hearing at 9 a.m. where my legal counsel and the prosecutor had met to discuss a plea deal. And when they attended that hearing, I was not there. However, they demanded from the clerk and the court bailiff as to where was I, why wasn't I there. They demanded to know what had happened and why was I not at that hearing. That hearing was not. I was not required to attend that hearing. So to me, them being there and talking to the clerk and talking to the bailiff in regards to my whereabouts, to me that is very strange because I am a nobody, Prof.
I'm
I
sure
am
it
not.
makes you feel unsafe. Yes. Hmm.
It makes me feel unsafe, and it makes me feel uncomfortable, and it makes me feel targeted.
Well, this concerning behavior with filming you all around in your county sounds like it might be in violations of the judge's directions uh, given to you.
Yes,
And yeah, okay.
absolutely. Do you remember? Prof, when I obtained the transcripts of that hearing in Tippecanoe? I believe it
Oh,
was back in
yes.
July of
Hmm.
4.
Hmm.
Okay. The judge specifically advised me that nothing in that transcript was to be made public.
Okay.
And she told me that if I made any of that transcript public, I would be held under contempt.
Has any of that
The
transcript been made
judge
public?
no, I was
Uh,
ordered
oh,
not to, so I just
okay.
own it. I have it at home. Uh,
Okay.
but the Judge McVeigh, with the Tippecanoe Superior Court, advised and ordered both of us to stay away from each other.
Okay.
Okay?
And
Um,
following you around to the
yeah.
all over is not staying away. So this is highly concerning. I will let
That's
my
fun.
people know. Okay. Hmm?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you giving me the platform to put this out, and you can use this recording as you wish. You own this recording. I've given you total permission to record this conversation.
Okay. Yeah, well, I have a gathering tonight with some of my viewers who might be concerned, so I'll share it with them.
So I was hoping to do this, and I'm still hoping to do this with Rick Snee, but Rick Snee at the moment has texted me, and he's having some issues with his electronic devices. So I told him I'm gonna try and get a hold of you. And like I said, I had the wrong number for you, bro. I mean, I was like, I thought you ghosted me for a minute there, and when Fort Pitts gave me your number, and I was like, well, no wonder you hadn't replied for 3 months. I had the
Oh
last
yeah.
4 digits wrong.
Oh, but that's okay. I
Well,
know
This
you're
call
doing
will be
well.
terminated in 2 minutes.
Oh, I know you're doing okay
we
because
got a
I've been keeping
problem.
up with everybody, you know.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What I did was I wrote your number on my notes when I came in. Well, I wrote like 10 numbers that I brought in with me when I turned myself and checked into the Hyatt Regency here in Wabash County, and for some reason, I wrote the wrong last 4 digits of your number.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right. Well, thanks for. We got a 2-minute warning. We'll get a minute warning here in a little bit. So I want to wrap it up by saying thank you for what you did the other night. I heard about it, and I kind of joined the chat through several of our close friends. I want to thank your audience. I want to thank the people.
This call will be terminated in 1 minute.
Okay.
Diana, Alex Voorhees, Pitts, Rich Nate, Carol, Who's Your Daddy, and I want to thank you. I want to say hi to TheProf's. I want to give a special thanks to Mark Ellis for his love and support, and just everybody, bro. I love them, and I miss everybody, and I'll be gone till January.
Awesome.
I was
Well, we'll
hoping November.
have a good
Wait.
2026. It's right around the corner.
Yeah. Well, now that I have your the right number, you'll be getting texts from me and things like that.
Awesome. Look forward to it, man. Take care over there.
It was our job to help law enforcement.
All right, and and that's it with the stalker behavior and Noe's phone call. So that was Noe's message. So the good news from Noe today. Okay, the good news from Noe. He's out in 3 months. Okay, 3 months. He's out in 3 months. That's a huge win for Noe. So despite the false reporting, and remember what he said. I don't know if you guys really picked up on it, but these stalkers, these very stalkers right here who are filming him, are the ones who falsely reported him for the charges that were dropped. Okay. So it's very interesting. So the stalkers here who have been stalking him for 2 years all around the state of Indiana, they are the ones who reported him to try to have him arrested, and those charges were dropped today, as well as another. So because of that, Noe will be out in 3 months. So good for Noe. This is a huge win today. So I guess we got a double win. You know, the first win is getting these unhinged maniacs on film actively stalking the parking lot to try to see what people might be coming in to show support for Noe. And then the second win is we got a situation wherein Noe had about a year removed from the time he was facing, and 2 of the frivolous charges dropped that these individuals right here reported him for. So I think what we're doing is we're proving full circle a whole situation. And this is very essential in documenting the harassment and stalking, you know, very essential to have all of this thoroughly documented. So, yeah, good job, Noe. We're proud of you. Let's see. So, like I said, he ended up proving this letter he wrote a couple days ago. He proved it correct that they would show up and they would film him and harass him. And trust me, I anticipate that very soon, I would say in the next 24 hours, you're going to see footage from these individuals spread around social media, because that's the point of them going, is to intimidate, harass, and spread on social media this stuff. So I guess, hey, look forward to seeing Noe on film, and Noe's friends who happen to be filming this bizarre incident. Anyway, that's the update from Noe that I wanted to share with you all. So hope you guys enjoyed that. He said hello to everyone. He also said, if you'd like to support him, send me a Cash App and just put in there, "Hey, Prof, this is for Noe," and I'll go put it on his books. Okay, so all you got to say is, "This is for Noe." I'll put it on his books. If you don't say this is for Noe, it ain't going on his books. Okay, so make sure if you send a Cash App, put a note in there and say it's for Noe. Same with a super chat. Anything you give to me, Diana, Carol, anybody, if you send any of us money for Noe, just say it's for Noe so we know it is, and we'll forward it to him and put it on his accounts so he can keep in touch with his loved ones. Okay, and buy coffee because he's like me. He's extremely fond of drinking coffee. So anyway, that's the update. That was the most work I'm putting into the presentation tonight is showing you that stuff. In the meantime, I was hoping that we would have some guests visit the show. I got the link on up, so any of you that want to can click the link and come join me. We've been working hard, man. There's so much I would love to say, but there's so much I can't say yet because the things that we're doing, it's the tasks are not complete. It hasn't come full circle, so it's not time to share it really publicly yet, because we don't want to show our hand too soon. But needless to say, we got several things cooking. Okay, we got several things cooking at once. For instance, we are working on certain witnesses to certain events that we are trying to assist in providing their statements, in documenting it all, in ushering them to the proper places so that they can add to all of these various circumstances that we're encountering. We have made a lot of progress on the mean crank girls. Okay, so we have made some progress in what we've been battling on that front, and so I guess I am I'm kind of going to put this out there. I would highly advise one or two of the inner cranks to email me immediately in the next 48 hours. You probably should really give some thought to emailing me and figuring out if you're going to decide to come clean, lay the cards on the table, and show some receipts. So I would highly recommend that the inner cronks give some thought to sending one or two diplomats over to my email inbox. I don't want to have to really go any further into discussing the fruits of our labor regarding Florida, North Carolina, or Texas. So I'd like to see, in New York, I'd like to see a couple of the cronks send me an email and decide to work it on out before we push this into the hot zone. Okay? And that's all I got to say about that. Let's see. In regard to the strikes on my channel, let's talk about that for a minute. Because I received a number of fraudulent strikes today on my channel. That's right. That's right, on the YouTube channel. Okay. So here's the first thing. My show yesterday on YouTube, which I entitled Delphi Under the Bridge, please go check that out if you already haven't, because there's something in there that is bothering the hell out of the troll farm. Okay? The entire troll farm is losing their shit because of that show that I produced yesterday entitled Delphi Under the Bridge. I've already gotten several privacy strikes fraudulently. Okay, so Chomo does not want me displaying to you the close relationships with the Patties, with the inner workings of the troll farm, including the two individuals you just witnessed stalking Noe in the parking lot. They don't want me showing you the receipts of their close relationships and the fact that they are striking my channel to try to have content removed. And they also don't want you watching the show that I produced last night called Delphi Under the Bridge. So therefore, you should probably go watch the live stream from last night and share it all over social media before it goes down, because it may go down. But yeah, apparently the state actors are very unhappy with the Delphi Under the Bridge show. So please do go support it, spread it around, and share it and download it before it gets removed due to fraudulent privacy strikes. And just remember, there's nothing like a chomo who wants to hide his chomo nature. And Mr. Chomo can continue to fraudulently strike my channel. But hey, all I got to say is be careful who you put in the target zone, because that person may just turn the sights on to you. And so if you got skeletons in your closet, you might not want to provoke and target people, because some people have the ability to hyper focus for long periods of time. That's right. And I mean months to years. And I don't know if any of you know what a dossier is. You could almost call it like a book of receipts. But yeah, it's funny that the guys with the skeletons in the closet want to be the most provoking, aggressive ones on YouTube. So regarding the Chomo, he might want to watch his behavior. Now, what else? Regarding Delphi Doc's crew, we've been having a lot of success identifying every single one of them. And we're pretty much 85% of the way there. That's right. When it comes to the mods, we're pretty focused on the mods in the Delphi Docs Reddit. That's been somewhat less active since the arrest of Richard Allen, but in the years prior, they were hyper active on narrative control in this Delphi case. And thankfully, you can never delete Reddit posts or comments. They might be gone from Reddit, but they ain't gone from the internet. So because of that, it's very easy to delve into Reddit history and basically figure everyone out. And like I said, people make mistakes, and people have made mistakes. But when you have targeted, harassed, and controlled the narrative ad nauseum for years, those victims, if you get the right one who turns around and faces you directly and puts their sights on you, you guys might have a problem. Okay? So we have good news on the Inner Crunks front. Good news on the Delphi Docks crew front, which is pretty much one and the same. We got good news on the Chomo front. We got good news on Noe's front. We got good news on a couple crucial witnesses that may aid in this case overall on that front. So things are really, really looking good. And I know that it's, without showing you everything immediately, it's a little confusing, or you might be a little hesitant to accept that, but things are really looking up, and they have been for a while. It's been a really good month. I think we have a good group going. We built our numbers pretty significantly, so we have a really group of people, and each one with special talents. And because of the teamwork, we're all able to combine our talents, and we're fighting back. And I think this is a fight that they don't want. So there's that. I also notice a little discord on the defense advocates front. There's some infighting. And it's a really beautiful type of infighting. It's the type of infighting I've been wanting to see. I've been wanting to see this because, the thing is, with people who are absolutely toxic and incapable of maintaining normal human relationships, basically every relationship they ever have falls completely apart. Okay? And that also goes back some years. So that's happening as well. So I guess be ready for somewhat of a circus. Okay? Be ready for somewhat of a circus, because there's some shit falling apart in different camps. And hey, I'm here for it all. And like I said, I never want to talk too much about what's cooking, because I don't want to show the cards before it all works out. But pretty good. It's pretty damn good. All right. So let me check out this chat. What's up in Ouchie, Diana? Okay. Oh, you guys talking about the diabetes, the sugar diabetes. Ouchie is the code for Dee Dee touched me too hard. All right, what else is going on? I talked to Mr. Who's Your Daddy today. That was pretty nice. I got to talk to Hooser. Heather, I can't do nothing. I'm busy. I'm busy. I'll have to take care of that later. I talked to Who's Her Daddy. And everybody say some extra prayers for Who's Her Daddy. I think he's a little under the weather, so give some well wishes to Who's Your Daddy so he can get to feeling a little better. I told him drink some coffee. You know me. I'm Mr. Coffee over here, so I'm like, yeah, just drink some coffee. So who's here? Drink some damn coffee. It's my best. That's my health advice, And I think that's about it. So what do you guys got going on in here? Huser said he had problems getting in here to do the chat, but that he's able to watch. He said he's able to watch, but he has problems figuring out all of the verification to create an account, I think. So I don't know. Maybe DD will help him, or somebody will help him get his account set up so he can chit chat. But I know he's having a little complications with the verification process or whatever it is I made you do. These settings are rather difficult in the backstage area of Twitch, so I've been working on it. But I tried to make it as user friendly as possible. So who knows? Hopefully you guys can fix it. Okay. David Rogers. Hey, what up, David Rogers? Good to see you. Welcome, David. And welcome, Silence Woman. Again, it was a pain in the A for me to get it. J Rabbit, look, don't provoke me, man. You want to talk about some slime ball lawyer? Question here. When have you ever seen lawyers literally simp for and put their nose up the ass cracks of skanks on YouTube like you do in the Delphi case? I mean, tell you what, I got a lot to say. I don't want to say it yet because I'm working on presenting it to you in a very I guess the word, okay, diplomatic way. But I'd say it this way. If you ever had a question about a certain lawyer, that should have answered your question. That should have answered your questions because tell you what, you talk about a slime ball. You talk about a POS, man. Yeah. Anyhow, hey, where's Nancy? Did I miss Nancy? Where's Nancy? Announcement from Noe. Hello to all. I will do a video visit for Diana's live stream tomorrow. Sending love to all. No, I have warm clothing. I need donations for jail, ATM, and phone time. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking for commissary and phone calls. That's what Noe needs. He needs coffee. Noe likes coffee too. So he needs coffee and he needs phone time. So if you send donations to any of us, I know Dee will take donations. Carol will take donations. I'll take donations. All of Noe's friends will take donations and forward to him for coffee, commissary, whatever, and phone time. Okay? And thank you, everyone, from the bottom of my heart. That support means a lot to me. Love and hugs. Awesome. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, David Rogers. Yeah. So, look, I don't know who is who. Everyone that doesn't have the same name is on YouTube. Sorry, I don't know who you are yet. But it's good to see everybody. So I have a goal to get to 50 subscribers, and I think that's the I think 50 subscribers is one of the major hurdles for monetization on Twitch. So regarding monetization on Twitch, I got to get to 50 subs to get the monetization started. Okay. And I got to do like a handful of live streams, which we've been doing. So hopefully we'll get the Twitch monetization hurdles crossed pretty soon, and that'll be fun. Okay. Is that Snoop? Snoopin'? Oh, Snoopin' Nancy? I don't know if it's Snoop Sleuth or if it's Nancy. It's Nancy? All right. So let's see what else has happening. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to give too much away, but there's a lot of good things happening. Trust me, there's stuff cooking. All right. I don't know, Lita Joe. I don't know how to use this shit. Do you? Shibby's the expert here. I'm declaring Shibby the official expert of Twitch. Let's see. But I'm looking for. I think we're looking tonight for like 5 more subscriptions, and I'm looking for a guest to come and talk to me before we get the hell out of here. Because otherwise, I'll probably fucking leave. Um, hey, Nicole Watt, welcome, welcome, welcome in. Good to see you. All right, Nicole, Snoop and Nancy, Lita Joe. All right, good night, Deeper 73. Hope you have a good night. Um, damn, I would have to send an email, but Jesus, man, it's too much to do. Let's see. Let me see if I can do this. All right, can I do this all while we're working? Jesus, man. Mm, let's see. Oh man, this ain't working out. Let's see. Last day of work before 2 weeks off. Sounds good to me. 2 weeks is a nice long break. Oh, that's so nice, Rebecca. I'd call him, but I'd call in, but I got my husband laying next to me. I'd wake him up. What did I miss? Rebecca Ann. Oh, really? Ew. Is that true? Let's see if we can check that out. Let's check this out. Let's see. Ew. Police arrested a Shelbyville man today. Let me see. Okay. I know I can do this. You guys are my heroes. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's do this, y'all. First of all, I'm going to put this up to credit. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I'm going to credit It's a New Day here. Another pedophile arrested in Shelbyville. Okay. Then we're going to do this. Okay. Then we're going to do this. Let's see. Ooh. Okay. What do we got here? A Shelbyville man. Overwhelming amount of evidence. Shelbyville man accused of distributing child sex abuse material on Snapchat and Kick. Shelbyville, Indiana. A Shelbyville man admitted he used his phone to store and distribute child sexual abuse material. CSAM online. And police say they still have an overwhelming amount of evidence to parse through in the case. Christopher M. Myers, 43, was booked into Shelby County Jail, on Tuesday, according to the online jail records. The Shelby County Prosecutor's Office filed charges a day later. Myers currently faces 1 count of child exploitation, a level 4 felony, although additional charges may be filed later. According to the probable cause affidavit, the investigation started with a tip submitted by the parent company of Snapchat to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in April 2024. Look at this guy. Whoa, look at this guy, huh? I mean, look at this guy. Christopher Myers. He's like that looks like basically Kagan Klein's older uncle or something. This is Kagan Klein's uncle, right? In June 2025, the investigation was transferred to an investigator with the Shelby County Sheriff's Office and the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force after the initial probe traced the tip to Myers, a Shelbyville resident. So this is the guy. So Snapchat reports him for spreading CSAM on Snapchat. The investigator looked through Myers' online history and accounts and discovered links to several files on various online services. Most had been taken down because they contained child sexual abuse material violating the terms of service. The investigator was able to access some of the material, which included an explicit video involving what appeared to be an underage girl. The 19-page probable cause affidavit filed in the case tracked the web of accounts and email addresses Myers allegedly used in an effort to conceal his activities. Investigators needed multiple warrants. And subpoenas from tech companies and internet service providers to link everything to him. A look at Myers' bookmarks on Chrome showed he had an interest in amateur teen CSAM and virtual private networks used to conceal online activity, according to court documents. It appeared he used numerous accounts and email addresses to access different platforms, including YouTube, YouTube, TikTok, X, Reddit, Snapchat, and Kick. Oh my God. Oh my God. Authorities served a search warrant on Myers' home and vehicle on Tuesday. They seized multiple electronic devices. During an interview, Myers told police he used Snapchat to send explicit material to another user. He also said He viewed and distributed additional material on Snapchat and Kick, telling investigators he used numerous throwaway email addresses to maintain access, just like the trolls do. God, these people are catfishers extraordinaire. You talk about, you've never seen as many fucking people with as many fucking email addresses as these fucking freaks. Okay? Myers said police would find his quote unquote collection of child sexual abuse material, CSAM, on a phone in his bedroom. The phone, an LG Wing, contained explicit CSAM videos depicting minor age persons as young as a 1-year-old. I can't even. 1-year-old. They found CSAM depicting minor age persons as young as a 1-year-old to a 17-year-old in various states of nudity and or having various sexual acts committed to them, according to court documents. The affidavit indicated police still had a great deal of material to go through, with multiple electronic devices still in need of analysis. Due to the overwhelming amount of evidence still needing to be processed, this investigation is ongoing and an amended affidavit of probable cause will be filed, the affidavit says. So it's already 19 pages, and they're probably going to triple that, I would guess. Jail record shows Myers was being held without bond. Perfect. Finally, his initial court date was scheduled for Wednesday. Now, see, this guy, this is the type of guy they need to beat his ass in jail. Okay? This guy right here, let's take a good look at this winner. Look at him. Like I said, this is Keegan Kline in about, I don't know, 15 years. This is Indiana. Yep. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I think this needs to be said. Let's see.
Well, obviously, we have a rapist in Lincoln Park. He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they're raping everybody out here. Bruh.
Huh? So, wow, it's a new day. Well, wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? Thank you for bringing that to us. I'm not saying I'm happy to see it, but I'm glad to know and to be informed, to spread the news, because this is the type of word we need to be spreading. Remember, Snapchat, Reddit, Kick. Are you sensing a pattern here? Like think about what we've been saying about DELPHI, Snapchat, Reddit. Remember, Yubo, Reddit, Snapchat, Roblox. It's always the fucking same with these people. It's always the fucking same with these people. Monsters. Literal monster right here. If you ever wonder what the definition of a monster is, take a good look. One-year-olds. Like, that's younger than Keegan. Remember, Keegan Kline, I believe, had 3-year-olds. This guy, he went on down to 1 year olds. So yeah, thanks a lot, Miss It's a New Day. Appreciate that. Not glad to see it. But I want to say congrats to Heavy Brown. So I saw the good news in the chat while we were looking at that. Unfortunately, so we're mixing good with bad there. Yeah, I get what you're saying. He looks like a fatter Harvey Weinstein. Yeah. Oh, what else we got on this fuck face? Let me see what else I can find. Let me see. Let's see what else I can find. Oh, this is another one. Okay, this is another one. I guess I can show you this one. This because this is worth looking at. Check this one out. All right. Come on, Prof. All right, check this one out. This is from Angela. Okay, check this out. A Shelbyville man faces child sex crimes in a lengthy investigation where detectives say they have an overwhelming amount of evidence to get through and more charges will be coming. For now, Christopher Myers is in jail on account of child exploitation with aggravating factors. He was arrested this week at his employer in Greensburg. The investigation started back in April of 2024 with the cyber tip line report indicating the user was in possession and distributing child sex abuse material. Myers admitted to police after his arrest that he kept his CSAM collection on his LG wing next to his bed. Detectives found numerous CSAM videos with children as young as 1 being raped. The 19-page probable cause affidavit describes how Myers was tracked through emails, Snapchat, Kik, and other technology. They also say they have his key search terms that are mostly too repulsive to share. Oh my God. See, this is new. His key search terms are mostly too repulsive to share. A few include brutal, shocking rape and 1,200 plus toddler boys. As soon as we get court information on his initial hearing and bond information, she will update this. And there you go. Yep. So it is what it is. That is what it is. It's a cancer. You know, speaking of heavy, kicking cancer. This is another type of cancer. It's a cancer of our society. And trust me, it's been allowed. And I've said this for years now. Don't you think that in our day and age, when they can hack anybody's device, when they can listen to anything you're seeing and see anything in any IP address you're using, don't you think that they have the ability to go in and wipe this cancer out from society? And by that, I mean disabling it across the internet and going and immediately identifying all the users and then going prosecute them. They could very quickly wipe this cancer off the internet. But they haven't. It's been allowed. And it's really fucking bothersome. Makes you wonder, like, why is this being allowed? Right? And they're just starting to address it in a significant fashion. All right, you guys, hold on a second. I gotta handle something behind the scenes. Whoops. Okay, I'm ready to go. So, guys, looks like we got Mr. We have a guest. We have a guest who's come on into the backstage area, and I've been waiting to speak to our friend for quite a while since the last time he came on. And I think all you know will know as soon as I bring him up, you'll know who he is, and I think you'll all be glad to hear from him because every time he comes, we have a real nice conversation. And so, hey, please welcome on in my friend Jake Brooks here. Everyone be nice in the chat, say hello, and greet him as I bring him on in. Let me see if I can get him up here. Hello, hello.
Am I coming through?
Yeah, loud and clear, Jake. What's up?
Good evening to you. How are you?
All right, good evening. I know everybody's glad to hear from you.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be back as the wild turns of Delphi go.
Yeah.
So tell me, how much more evidence do you think? Because I know the transcripts have come out, and those are a handful. Has there been, like, I guess, any of the evidence that kind of was that convicted Richard Allen? Has that been made public?
Well, I guess my question would be what do you think convicted Richard Allen that we would be wanting to review, because it all has for the most part, but I think the most interesting thing that is beginning to come are the attachments to the Frank memorandum. Those are starting to come, and those are actually very interesting. But all of the Richard Allen stuff, the majority of it is out, except for the Bridge Guy video exhibits that were used at trial.
Right.
Yeah.
I think part of the claim of, like, ineffective assistance of counsel has got to be his team stipulating to, I guess, the evidence that's going to be brought against him. I mean, I think that was far too broad.
Oh yeah, remember that stipulation? Yeah, man.
I mean, to me, you're given, like, why not challenge any of that? It doesn't make sense to me. And right after he got convicted, the whole brigade was really ready to be sort of a, they call themselves the defense daddies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's almost like it was part of the script to have their back as soon as, because there was a decent amount of PR that went on. I mean, it was a big case and it was public and anything, but it did seem a little strange, right through there. Hey, everybody in chat, what's up?
Hey, everybody in chat. Yeah, everyone's saying hello. All 5 people.
I know, right?
But cool. I like it here because it's not. You know what I like about this platform, Jake, is the chat is very interesting to me. I like the way it's built. Yeah. I wish I was here now with all my YouTube followers over here, because I'd just rather be here. But it's nice. It's kind of, I like it informal here on our Thursday nights.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. I put that thing up several times, and actually, I keep it backstage here. It's ready to go because I can upload about 10 documents at a time and just leave them. Because that document, I agree with you. It's really, I just wonder what the hell those attorneys were thinking. It's like,
so if the judge is not going to allow you to have third-party people or evidence, right? And what she said was the reason why you can't have these third-party people is because there was no nexus, right? They said there's no nexus. Well, what would be nexus? In her mind, it would be DNA. Well, then why are we holding proceedings against Richard Howland? Because from what I saw, they had a million different ways that they tested this and not a single piece they could connect to him.
Yeah, all that hair that was collected on those bodies and near the bodies, all those hairs,
Lots of hairs, lots of
all
different hairs, lots of different kind of types of hairs. You had hairs that had roots, you had some that did not. But
Mhm.
what was interesting is that they tested that just 2 weeks before the trial started.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much at liberty I am to say. This is a little hairy.
Okay. We don't have
But no, but I do kind of want to say this because this whole concept of Kelsey's hair, uh, it's a misrepresentation that hair was not identified as Kelsey's until that point. We now know that hair was identified long before it was belonging to Kelsey, and the prosecution didn't want that revealed.
Oh, wow.
And so when it was identified again at the direction or the compelling of the defense, then it became a thing. But I don't know, Silence Woman, you spill it. But no, but aside from Kelsey's, all of that hair, there's technology to look into DNA that is partial and fragmented and all of that, and all of the other DNA all over the bodies
Absolutely.
and the clothing.
But specifically on the hair, right? So there was testing that you could have done that was not going to damage, the underlying piece. And I'm quite skeptical about all of the inconclusive DNA that they had. I mean, she said that she spent almost like a year and a half or something on all of this. And I mean, it was just too often inconclusive. When you
Mhm.
had the amount of DNA and the different types that you had. Um, and one of the things that bothered me too is that they found profile of female 1 and female 3 over and over again, and they would stop investigating at the point where it was a female. Oh, we had evidence or we had direction. Okay. And when they say that it's inconclusive, part of the reason why it was inconclusive, and they structured this in a way to sort of not reveal this, is that they gave them no samples, including Richard Allen's, to compare it against as far as the hair goes. So they wouldn't give, they didn't want any, they didn't want to give any samples. So of course you're not going to find any confirmations from the hair if you ever actually compare it against anything.
Mm-hmm. True.
So that was one thing. And then I guess one of the other things that bothered me about I guess it was, I don't know how to say her last name, but Bozanvinsky, the
Stacy.
DNA,
Yeah.
Stacy,
Mhm.
okay. I thought it was strange. I thought it was strange that there was an ISP employee that came back on one of the pieces. And
Remember? Yeah.
she
Mhm.
spent a lot of time talking about how she had the lab secured. She spent a lot of time on no one else gets to touch any of this. She spent a lot of time really talking about there was no one else that made this, and okay. But the profile that would have come back from CODIS would be from the testimony is that it could be someone who's in CSI
Mhm.
for the United States Police. So it makes
Mhm.
me think, okay, in this case, how many witnesses were there that fit that profile? Like who would
Mhm.
actually possibly from their own self-reporting fit that? So the photographer would, okay.
Mhm.
The there are people that were former ISP that are no longer ISP that were witnesses in this case.
Mhm.
Okay.
Do you remember the?
There's people
Oh, go ahead.
that
Go
have
ahead.
there's people that have made reports of weird stuff like glitter at the scene and
Mm-hmm.
taking photos from helicopters.
Mm-hmm.
Those people that are putting themselves at and around that area at the time they were found, maybe if your DNA is there, I think we should be able to get your phone. If you're coming back on DNA that we're testing, we should start to look at your whereabouts. Okay. And I don't think that's too much to ask. But what I see is controlled opposition, including Jerry Holman, who also fits that profile, ISP investigator, who said, and I listened to this back recently, said that he heard it on the radio on the way to work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I had some notes about his interview and his whereabouts when he talked with Murder Sheet. And what's interesting is it cuts every time it talks about where he was and who he was with. Why does it cut like that? If me and you are talking right now, it's not cutting, is it?
Oh, editing. Yeah, yeah. The old slick editing on the production side. Mm-hmm.
But why does there need to be that much post-op? I mean, I'm in minute 2, minute 4, minute 8. Why does it got it? Why do you have to, when it's who you're with and your whereabouts and times? Why is that such a mystery, Mr. Jerry Holman, who's doing the read technique?
Mm-hmm.
At the time, he announces that at the time he was the what was it? Director of Investigations Coordination, I think, but it's spelled out DIC. I was like, what a perfect name for Jerry Holman. So I'm just getting warmed up. I'm glad to be here, Prof, and we're just hanging out with everybody. I'm reading the chat.
Hey, you remember that old rumor, Jake, about that? This was a persistent rumor before all the trial and all got underway, which was one of the quote unquote people who found the bodies or whatever, freaked out and touched the bodies. All of this had their DNA or whatever all over the bodies, touched the bodies before people came in and established the roped off the crime scene. You ever heard that rumor?
I did, and that, but that seems almost impossible to me unless they were invited. Because early that morning, they had the perimeter sort of. I mean, no one's going in and from outside there. It would have been already someone who has checked in, perhaps, and was roaming around, but it was not it was someone local there that was not a sworn officer that found him, right? And then the first officer.
Well, hey, hold on. I don't believe that either. I mean, because there's these stories, but then we got locals calling us with other stories.
No. But I'm saying what they testified to.
According to their story, yeah.
Right. What they
I actually believe it was a. So my current state of my internal investigation here behind the scenes is that it's a fireman, the first, and that's one of the big secrets. But that's my theory, working hypothesis. Right. But why would they see? I go back to why would they change the story, and why would it be a secret about who first found the bodies? Why?
Because it's poison.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to strategically place that. You needed to have a little bit of a story together before they get found to get that. Otherwise you got some explaining to do.
There's other anomalies too. Like there are people who say that there are people describing the crime scene in a different way than we saw in the leaked crime scene photos and the crime scene photos that were described as being seen in court. So I'm wondering that with that too, like, wait, was a crime scene found? So again, going back to my hypothesis, is it okay? The crime scene is found earlier and in a different state, and then it's somehow slightly manipulated, and then it's the time is pushed back, and the story and the photography is different than that. And this is starting to be what's leaking out of the community.
Right.
And yeah, I agree. This is the big, big, big questions. Like you said, fruit of the poisonous tree, so to speak, in a way.
It certainly seems like at least somebody on that side had to have a heads up, or at least look the other way. I mean, I'm not so ready to cast the stone and say for sure, but one of the reasons why that might be is they weren't together. And so if you think about a lot of the things that they say is, oh, they were together the whole time. Why are you pushing that so hard? Right? Maybe they had one in a spot that it felt good about, and the other one they had to, I'm spitballing here, Prof, and I don't really mean any disrespect to the families or to the victims here. This is me and Prof just hanging out talking.
Yeah, we're brainstorming.
Yeah.
And honestly, Jake, I want to announce that I've never really said this very clearly, but I've really knocked on this theory that Ron Logan killed the girls, quote unquote. But with that being said, I'm not necessarily excluding Ron Logan from involvement in the murders in any way. I'm just saying that there's no way I can believe that this is a lone wolf killing at all. So I believe if Ron Logan was somehow involved in the thing, that it still means there were others.
He seemed nervous, right? He had the story ready to go. He had the weird alibi about the fish. He has the proximity. He definitely has the opportunity. But that does it. One of the things that's a mystery with him is, he had to at least let the goons on this property at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, was he worried? Was that the extent of his worry? You hear things, and I'm not 100% true about this, but was there activity with him in the evening as well, right? When it corresponds with some of the phone moving. It matters.
Yeah, it does.
So that's interesting. But there are a number of people that testified that fit that same quality that would be in the CODIS. And to me, I don't think you're asking too many questions while saying, okay, well, your DNA is here, right? We're talking about nexuses here, and the man that they have in prison for 130 years has none of it, and yours is on here.
Yeah, so, I mean, Jake, I would say DNA and also digital forensics, geofencing, whatever you want to call it. Right. I think both of those things would be way more solid forensic evidence than just sheer speculation, which is what we ended up with,
Right. And if you think about, I mean, his defense strategy, right? You get charged with this heinous crime, and you have the judge coming after you saying no third party, which is basically the whole Frank's memo and all of their sketchy behaviors and weird coincidences and seemingly too good to be true things that are lining up that only people that were involved or at least had a close tie to it would know. And so you're not able to bring that up. And then your lawyers are allowing anything under the sun against you, including deep fakes or Photoshop. And we don't, and says, we'll take it from there. Some of the things that when I read that transcript, though, is I see these lawyers that are basically pillow fighting. I mean, I don't see real advocacy. And one of the things I worry about with Rick now is that he has also court appointed defense, and it's like, well, how far does the charade go, right? Because you can't tell me that if they're qualified to take a case like this, that they don't have at least a couple of bolts and screws to them on the other side. You don't get handed this case without knowing what the playbook is. So I do worry about that for him. And I was telling my friend, I said, well, if we can just throw people in prison and just drug them and torture them and until we get them to say whatever they want to say. Why are we living like this? Why did they do this to this guy 5 years later? What is the point of all this? And it never makes sense to me. And it's a sad part, and it's a black eye for the men and women that are paid to protect us, that we pay to protect us, right? Are engaged in crap like this, that's using the badge. When Jerry Holman was at that first press conference, and there was a reporter that seemed to ask sort of a softball question, right? This is the one that Doug Carter's got the note card and he's covering up the bridge guy's face and pointing and doing all the theatrics and stuff. A reporter raises a question, the first question, and he looked like he was, all right, I'm going to use this badge. I'm going to use my power, and I'm going to make your life hell just for asking that question. I'm going to make an example out of you for asking that question out this. And I bet you he did. I'm not accusing anything, but I mean, you just see his demeanor on this. He was hired to play that role that he took, and he had that from unified command all the way through. And you can see when the FBI came in and made a task force around it with Ferenczi and Murphy and Click, that he had a problem with anything that they were digging up, and actively participated to put what they were finding out down. And some of those people of the task force were investigating subjects that they had a real good history with. They know they were bad dudes, and they know they would do something like this without even thinking about it, or if they had the opportunity, they would.
Yeah. Because there are good cops. Yeah, I truly believe like this, all of these, with what they did to him, all of the torture and drugging, like none of that should have ever been allowed in this trial. And like you say, this is a real blight. It's a real bad reflection on the badge to put this guy into this condition and get that stuff and then use it against him when they knowingly had him in that condition before they got this out of him. That should never been allowed.
Never.
And
if they had, just like you said, many times before, they wouldn't need to do this to him if they had proof.
Right. And back to what you were saying about Jerry Holman's demeanor, honestly, the more time goes by and I reflect and look back, it's this. I get these same feelings with Doug Carter, exactly, especially regarding this animosity or this sort of rivalry with the FBI being involved and wanting the county to be running this instead of the FBI, and just the way that he's just shielded and kind of covered and done damage control for all of it. And it's like, man,
correct.
Not a good look.
And at the call center, you had the old lady, right? That was back there. The one that found the tip, But when she was interviewed after, in that press conference after the Richard Allen conviction and his sentencing, they hold this press conference. I mean, he's standing right behind her, right? I mean, something is not right with everything there, and especially from the time he was very involved in. After the first 48 hours, they go back to his stomping ground in White County and bring him there for a week before they get. And so, how involved was this man in arranging the Westville trip? So, there are a number of shady individuals here. There's a bunch of weird stuff that occurs. But one of the things that you see, and I don't know that everyone catches this, right, is that one thing I'm a little bit sick of with this case is the amount of information that gets put out with unwarranted assumptions, right? So if we talk about who might have been at the bridge that day, you start to, in your back of your mind, you start to think that something happened at the bridge that day, right? And so if you never even question that part of it, and you just go hard in the paint about there might have been a car, there might have been footage, there might have been, then you can kind of feed into it subconsciously into that the altercation happened there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's all the public's really ever been told. But you wouldn't think at that point, because of the very first press conference that they had shortly after the crime, and I'm not talking about the one that Kim Riley was at, acting like a weirdo,
Mm-hmm.
and that Mullins looked like weird, and Lesenby sitting there weird. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the one that was, Doug Carter with the high and tight, and the distinguished look and all the theatrics. That's the one I'm talking about. And so, you hear about how heinous of a crime is, you wouldn't even start to kind of think that part of it's not even true. But you zoom out a little bit, and a lot of other things start to happen where it's possible. But you do know that the next day, on the 14th at noon. So to me, you don't see YouTube creators talking about that time or shortly before and after then when they were found. You find basically what the family said happened and where the family said happened.
Mm-hmm.
And what the police have echoed.
Yeah, that's part of the problem I have with this. A whole group of people positioning themselves to argue this case, but only arguing within the parameters of what the state, the family, and this entire trial presents as the happenings. And for me, I look at it like this. This appears to be PR from the day one in regard to convincing the public that all of this transpired on the bridge as the centerpiece. And it's just kind of been a whole rabbit trail since then of everyone kind of locked into that as a frame of reference, almost like I've often said, like this anonymous monster on the bridge. And I think it's a sort of tunnel vision. If that's all you're looking at, the perspective is very limited because you're only hyperfixating on that figure on the bridge who's really indistinguishable.
Correct.
And then this bridge, and like you say, that there's not much that makes sense about all of this digital stuff, like the photography, the footage, and then all of the narratives around it and all the contradictions.
Well, I mean, if David McCain was out there at the trails between 2 and 3, would Rick Allen not be on a lot of his films? If what Mullen said with the trail cams that were there, wouldn't Rick Allen not be walking through there? I mean, it doesn't make sense for what they're saying. I mean, and to have all of that evidence just magically gone, including the Hoosier Harvest Store video, the Marathon gas station video.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a lot of effort to make sure the signals are mixed that day.
Yeah. And there's another thing you just triggered in my memory that I want to bring up just as an aside, because there's something that I notice that everyone tends to forget, and maybe a lot of people haven't put this together yet. But this is confirmed by Tobe Lesenby and Hannah Shakespeare, okay? And that is this, that initially the whole thing was that this alleged bridge guy figure exited back through the main trail where they say he came in, exiting through towards the Freedom Bridge. And the witness for that was Daniel Pearson. Now, question I have is, why on earth would you suddenly produce Sarah Carbaugh with an entire different exit strategy in your hypothetical theory? So their working theory being that he left up that trail from Ron Logan's up back to the main trail out to Freedom Bridge, and it's Daniel Pearson who witnesses that individual leaving, and you change that story to no, he left through 300 and Sarah Carbaugh is now the witness. And when that's a major change in the narrative of the working flow of this crime that people seem to forget, or maybe that never caught on. But when Hannah was building that documentary in her interview with Tobe, that's what was said, and it just never made it. It didn't. It ended up on a cutting room floor. It's major.
Yep. Major, and he must have reason to have that set of facts in his mind and it public for that period of time. But when they circled around Richard Allen, there was a lot of things that changed. That like the time he was there. In the first interview with Holman, he sort of, with the read technique, is sort of assuming facts that are not true, and then you're hammering home on this, and you're not even asking about the first part of it. But he's like, you're there, and he's extending the time out till later in the afternoon. But the bottom line is, from where they found him, there wasn't searching going on there then. And these people are saying they searched all night until 2:30, and then it picked back up in the next morning. I don't see how you miss it. And so that's the strange part, is that you have all of these guys that are trained to be out there. They know how to do it in the water. They know how to do it in the wilderness. They know how. I mean, they're badass. Like, those people they know what they're doing.
Actual searchers, actual search and rescue. Yeah.
They can cover ground. They can get you out of spots, that. And we need them, but something was going on inside the perimeter here, and this stinks to high heaven. And the fact that they turned this on Richard Allen is insult to injury, because the victims have not been afforded justice, and that's my opinion. So whoever can get mad about that, but in my mind, we've got an innocent man paying for these crimes, and a lot of questions and weird behavior on social media, and it's an all-out blitz. The stakes must be high, because this is quite coordinated.
Mm-hmm. That's the only conclusion I can come to. What would be worth all this,
Some of the stuff, though, of that phone that I was thinking about, I just kind of bounces off my head. And, I have this device that's like this. You have a SIM card that will cut off. I mean, that pretty much deadens the phone. I don't know if you remember that little tray, but you could take a paper clip and push that off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so the phone is still on, right? I need to kind of look at that. But, with it saying, at 5:30 it comes off, but there's activity at 10:30, and then early in the morning again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how. Right. I don't understand how that is not getting Richard Allen out of jail, like, right now. Like, does that not exonerate him?
Well, see, that's what I didn't understand from trial. It was like,
that's strange, isn't it?
Yeah. Because so you mean a quick Google search of rumors is going to be allowed in as a valid expert argument against the fact that the forensics are saying that there's a headphone jack that's activated and then deactivated, and at the same time, I've said this a lot of times, that when that headphone jack is activated at the 5:45 or whatever it is time period p.m. It's only minutes later that the third phone leaves the geofencing. And I'm thinking, well, in space and time, that is a nexus.
It
There's
is
something going on.
correct. Right. I mean, those data points right then and there are crucial, and the proximity of those devices to others is crucial as well. But one of the other things, and I don't know how how anybody's ever going to be able to dispute this, but I'm reading back through some of this transcript, and after they get done with the witness, the jury gets an opportunity to ask questions, and they're asking questions as if they're absolute experts in the fields of firearm, in the fields of DNA, in the fields of. I mean, they had questions in DNA about reagents, chimeras. How does toxic drugs affect the DNA? I mean, they're talking about access to the lab. Perhaps some of these are innocent, but what does this have to do with anything if they're not fed to them? Like, where do these questions come from? And if you're so sophisticated, then you must then accept the conclusion that there was no DNA from this defendant. So if all of that defendant and all that testimony, is that not reasonable doubt?
Well, that's what I was going to say is with those types of questions, and you would assume some level of intelligence. Well, how do you not have the intelligence to understand the bar for reasonable doubt that you have to pass? Yeah. And I think that's an excellent point you made because that's how I was bamboozled during trial, because as that was happening, those questions were coming. I was dumbfounded. I'm sitting back like, wow, we have a great jury. Like, they are really thinking. And based upon the verdict that came back, and then allegedly the two alleged jurors that have come forward, that neither of them seem very intelligent at all. It's like you're saying, there's a lot of red flags. It would lead you to start to wonder if they were fed these questions, because otherwise it's sort of a conundrum. Like, how do you explain these questions and then the results? And then the aftermath, we get these two jurors come out that seem like high school girls,
Right. I mean, but having that many clothes, I think there were 11 cuttings from one of the garments, 11 cuttings with more than three different people, not Richard Allen, on it. Okay. Presumptive seminal fluid. You've got your ISP over here getting CODIS hits on it. I don't know if that's a lab leak or contamination, but it's sloppy or culpable, we should say. Right? They had tested the pink top, the gray bra, the black bra, the jeans. I mean, the shoes. Nothing from, and these are right next to where the wounds are, and he doesn't have any of his DNA there.
A really messy crime scene.
One of the ones that they did not test that I want to make a note of from the transcripts is a handkerchief that was there, not tested. A belt that they asked to preserve after the trial. There's a motion that says, "Hey, can you please make sure that you preserve that belt? We might need it later." These are huge items in the fact that if they were where they say they were, how could you not be testing that against the defendant? And if you did, what are those results? Because I think if they could match it to Richard Allen, we would have heard that right in the trial. So, then they're asking about, well, does the dirt hurt the DNA of the bullet? The bullet is such a that whole part of it was so goofy to me, because Jason Page was the CS photographer. He testified he did not take any images of the bullet. Why would that be? Why would you not take a picture of the bullet?
That's
Was
not
it there?
protocol, is it? Isn't
Was
there
it
some
there?
standard protocol revolving around evidence collection?
He's the photographer for the ISP that showed up that day. Testifies, I didn't take a picture of the bullet. Okay, well, where did that's a problem, right? The audio and video enhancements that Chapman did, the defense counsel did not challenge anything with that. Wait, if you could, like, just imagine you're got the whole weight of the state against you, and you're about to get convicted on deep fakes and photoshopped evidence. Likely, I mean, at least was cut. Some parts of it were admittedly altered. We don't know how, or we don't know the specification by which that was done. But if it's evidence that's going to put me into a jail cell, I'd like to not waive my right just to accept what the state had. And in that trial,
which brings us back to that joint stipulation.
Correct. Not only that, Prof, in the trial, it's littered with air quote technology issues. I bet you they didn't want to play hot potato on whose actual computer is going to be the one that's going to have to put this one up. They're having compute. Well, in that Jerry Holman interview with Murder Sheets, he says, from what I remember, he pointed out technology is great when it works. Guess when the technology starts to fail, when they want to start showing the multimedia of the person that they have from this sketchy phone. How convenient is that?
Yeah, it's just as convenient as was it Mullen who just happened to destroy 70 days of hard drive interviews from all the first 70 days, or for the first 6 months, all 70 days from within the first 6 months. Like, what?
So listen to this. This was Exhibit 5. This is early in the trial. There was a map of the area. Supposedly the tech wasn't working for the map on Exhibit 5, so they handed photocopies. Now, what does that accomplish? The people in the gallery don't get to see what's the evidence against them. They can put whatever they want and depict on that photocopy. We don't get to see that. So Exhibit 5 from the map, tech not working. They hand out photocopies instead from in the trial. Right? How do we know what's on those pages? Did they publish that? Exhibit 7 was a mark map. They hand that out as a handout. The drone footage that they have was not from the same year or season. So what is
right? That's right. Mm-hmm.
So to me, this is sleight of hand. This is exactly what they had to do to probably convince those last couple ones that weren't already homers that were on that panel. And the efforts to minimize everyone's voice of what was going on was absolutely clear with the way that they set up how you had to get in, how they were monitoring to make sure that there was no one recording, and to let the public know as little as possible of the kangaroo court that was going on behind closed doors.
Exactly. And it also encourages misinformation, right? Because as people are coming out, everyone's remembering shit differently. They're seeing shit differently. They're reporting shit differently. Things get confused. You got your game of telephone. So then the whole public's getting this whole convoluted story from it. Yeah. And even now, remember, I've been harping on this idea that we still don't have the actual video exhibits and audio exhibits from this alleged bridge guy video that was shown in court. Instead, they let these cranks leak some other fucking version, and we're supposed to be happy with it and never get those exhibits. Which for me, it's like,
you go to some of those links though, and there's a couple of them that are out there. There's 960,000 views of that. Like, those burned in memories are not coming out of the general public's memory. And that, to me, is like once you see like on the Charlie Kirk the guy running across the top of the roof, you assume that there's some foul play involved, right? You don't, whether that's legit or not, and that's probably a bad example, but like you're not walking that back from the kind of the core thought of a starting point for you know, the
That's a
fact of what happened.
great point.
And so I think Richard Allen's attorneys need to raise that, though, is I think that's ineffective. Number one, that his lawyer stipulated to that. And it's alarming for some of the statements that his counsel said afterwards, right? They make this PR tour to some of the folks that went to the trial quite a bit. And I hear one of his lawyers say that the video they played in court and the video that they had in discovery wasn't that different. And that's a quote. It wasn't that different. What do you mean wasn't that different? If my life's on the line, or if a loved one of mine is on the line, how is it different? How is it showing my client favorably or unfavorably? And so some of the actions that his defense attorneys and strategy, I don't think it was effective. And they were paid a lot of money. I know that's not the easiest job in the world, but something's up there. I hope that he gets a new trial, and Prof, like you, I do hope that the folks in Frank's memo and that the new regime that has taken over wants to take a look at this, because it is probably the biggest miscarriage of justice that I think I've ever seen in my lifetime. Not only not finding the victims of the two girls, but also what they did to Richard Allen afterwards, 5 years later.
I mean, they Guantanamo Bayed his ass. I mean, and anyone who says not, you don't know. Like, you need to go reflect. Yeah, this is not the way it's supposed to be. I mean, like you said, it's a smear on this justice system. It really makes it look no better than any other place.
But the rulings that the court and that the high court and the land have made are almost empowering these people's ridiculous behaviors. I think it's adding fuel to the fire. They can't stop me. I got the judge. You even saw that in some of the behavior of these police officers who were threatening, well, I'll lock you up tonight. Like, even including some of his lawyers that were trying to throw him in jail. I got Judge Gold in my back pocket. You're going to be held in contempt. And, this is like martial law.
Yeah. And, another point that I just remembered, and it's just so many to always remember, but remember during that whole debacle, you got Libredo and Scrimmin are on, also appointed in a friendly manner by Judge Gold, and she offers them complete latitude to go ahead and have a Franks hearing, which is contrary to what she did before and after with Baldwin. And it's like, well, when does that ever happen? Why should who the attorney is matter in terms of what's allowed for the defendant? Because for me, the attorney is supposed to be basically a non-entity. The attorney is a surrogate or a sit-in for the defendant. It's just the defendant's stand-in who has the legal knowledge to properly argue. So why should it matter who's standing in those shoes when it comes to it? Because it's really, you should be offering Richard Allen or that defendant the opportunity to present a Franks hearing, or to argue for whatever reason for a Franks hearing. So why should it matter who's standing in those shoes of the attorney at that point in time? It's really the cognitive dissonance because it's
Well, you bring up the point of changing the lawyers, right? So she turns the video cameras on in a case that's been completely sealed, gag ordered to the nines, right?
Mhm.
I mean, liberally shutting down for this air quote sake of the investigation that they really didn't gain any ground on in 5 years. I mean, to gag it like this and then to get nothing after 50,000 tips. I mean, who they got Huey, Dewey, and Louie uh as these cops. And really they were just smacking down anybody who got near anything that was hot
Mhm.
and making life real tough for them. Um but you bring up his the attorney. So I think one of the sleight of hands that we probably should take a look at is during that time was there massive amounts of discovery that was over, whereby the prosecution say we did give it to Richard Allen. It wasn't really his defense, but did some of the bad stuff that maybe. I mean, there was. You remember how there was discovery weirdo like anomalies where it was always seems to be. When the attorneys were ripped off, they were ordered to bring back all of their case materials, all of their work product and turn that into them. So now the state got to read all that. Okay. They get any of the briefs they had drafted that maybe had not been filed yet, any of the working outlines of people that they were hot on the press for. The state gets to peel back his whole entire defense theory with all the materials from all of his lawyers. She turns the cameras on in court and says, "You're fired. I can't believe what you guys did." Right. And he gets these two new lawyers. And I think one of them's I don't know. I'll have to check the facts on this. But the two lawyers that you mentioned, they come on, and by the time Richard Allen's new attorneys came in, the work product that they had been working on, from what I understand, is that it wasn't in the same condition. It wasn't like
Oh,
they
right,
gave
right,
it.
right. So yeah, when the original attorneys were reinstated and they received discovery again, it was in a different condition than when they returned it, which means it doesn't mean that the lawyers deleted stuff or moved things, but there were items missing that had been present before that they no longer had access to, which I kind of look at as a sanitization, because remember the I guess the way that this all was prefaced is the discovery was extremely unorganized in the first place, massive
Right.
volumes of it, extremely unorganized. So they go away for a while, they come back, they get it back, and it's still unorganized, but now it seems that it's missing items that were needed and known to exist before that are not found at all.
And they just play dumb about it and
move right. Move right along. Nothing to see here.
So maybe the lawyers, there had to have been a good reason for that shuffle. But when he went in front of the Supreme Court to get his lawyers back, those are the same appeal attorneys. Is that right? For his direct
One
appeal?
of them. Mm-hmm.
One of them?
Yes, Mr. What's his name?
I can see
Lehman.
his face too.
Mark Lehman.
That's right.
He was one of them. And but back to your point, that here the complication that I'm having in my cognitive dissonance is these are still employees of the state. Their livelihood is dependent upon the state, And I think there probably needs to be an entire overhaul of this whole system and more of a free market system. I kind of envision that there could be vouchers or something where maybe you don't need a whole category of what's called public defenders. Why not a complete free market and allow attorneys to be selected by the defendant and then compensated with
like
some
a credit system, right?
Mm-hmm. The vouchers from the state or whatever. So they're still paid by the state, but they're selected by the defendant and not appointed by the state. And it seems like that would be a lot more of a free market scenario. That would be freedom of choice of the defendant in who's defending him. Because I don't know, everything we're starting to see, and I really don't like doing this, but Well, you have to be willing and open minded to question everything when things don't seem right, and things don't seem right. And so I have the same hesitation with the appellate attorneys. Is you're still dealing with employees of the state, you know,
That's right. And
entrenched employees
this
of the
won't be
state.
their last defense. This won't be their last appeal.
No, they'll have to argue in front of the same judge. It's the same with all of them. You know, Baldwin has repeated he's already been back in front of Gull with a whole other homicide. So it's rough. It's a
Well,
rough
Prof, I said
situation.
I'd come on and share some ideas with you and bounce things off. I'm not going to stay too late. Look, I enjoy all the folks that show up for your chat and stuff, and I enjoy being part of it. So hello to everybody, and thanks for having me on. I enjoy talking.
I appreciate you, and same here, Jake. Come back, and maybe we'll see you at YouTube. I truly appreciate it.
Take care, everybody. Good night.
All right, good night, Jake. All right, everybody, tell Jake thank you, please. I wish you would have stayed a little longer, but I'm tired anyway. I think we should call it a night, y'all. But yeah, man, Jake makes all good points, and it just all kind of reminds me altogether that it's just absolutely all problematic. Like, you know how you can enter into this environment of self, or this realm of self-doubt, where you're thinking, am I being too critical? Is everything really this bad from every aspect, every angle, from the day one to the day 7 to the day 70 to the first year, and then 5 years later, and the rest of Richard Allen, and then all of this, and then the trial, and then now the aftermath, and the post-sentencing press conference, and every single element. And the fact is that no, it is that bad. It is that bad. It's not self-gaslighting. It's not overly suspicious. It's not conspiracy theories. It is this bad. And as Jake said, this is why I returned to this concept of yes, okay. Of course, it would take a number of key individuals in key positions at certain nexus or power positions to accomplish something of this magnitude. Okay, of course. But it's possible if you have that. So it's not necessarily inconceivable. Now, it's also not a conspiracy theory, because we've known it's happened before, which means it's possible that it can happen again. And it did. Which leads you to believe or question or wonder, if this is indeed what's taken place, what in the world would be worth doing all this? Because remember, it's just 2 young ladies, right? You got 2 young victims. Normally, because you have young victims all of the time across the US, normally you don't see anything like this. So what would demand that all of this be necessary for these 2 young victims? It's got to be enormous, extremely significant. It must open the door into something that has the potential to affect very powerful people. And truly, that is your Occam's razor. It's your most reasonable deduction that makes everything make sense. Every lie, every contradiction, every look of suspicion, every anomaly, every gut feeling you have that people are behaving strangely, And remember, this doesn't just go back to the anomalies of the timeline, of the family statements, of law enforcement's behavior at all these press conferences over the years, of all the switching of the sketches and all of the blah blah blah, and in all of the arrest of Richard Allen with such scant, non-existent evidence, and all of the other things. This also bleeds onto social media, which I've taken up as a mantle and a mission to show to you, since I've been the victim of a lot of the social media aspect of it. The fact that not only would it be ground level with all of the actual critical individuals or integral individuals in the case, like the state police officers and the sheriff's officers and the searchers and the family members and all the attorneys, but it also goes on up into the social media sphere where we've seen 8 years of narrative control. We've seen deaths and threats and doxing and stalking and harassment and narrative control and discrediting and smear campaigns and just endless chaos. And people say, oh, no, do the drama. It's not drama. Jake said something to the effect of, this looks like it's the greatest miscarriage of justice, both for the victims and Richard Allen, that he's ever seen in his life. And, being somewhat on the inside of this whole conversation, I would have to agree. I don't know that I could really point to any greater miscarriage of justice on this scale. And as I mentioned, always think of all the victims in all of this, because it's not only Abby and Libby who's lost their lives. Okay? There are many who's lost their lives, and there's many who's lost their peace of mind and mental health and well-being. And now you have Richard Allen and his family caught up in it. There's so many things. And still, we see an absolute stranglehold on the narrative of this case. Post conviction. Why? Why, after a guilty verdict, 130-year sentencing, would there be so many people, including the judge, the former superintendent of state police, all of the detectives, prosecutor, and all of the above, why would these people still be dead set on controlling the narrative around this if it didn't matter? And I think that's where we should leave it tonight. It's some food for thought. And I'm really grateful to Jake for stopping by with some more food for thought. And I'm sure he'll be back. So everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being here. Hey, get some people over here so we can get up to 50 subscribers. I would just love that. If you're new here, if you're just watching, if you happen to be on a replay or something like that, check out hitting that subscribe button. And also realize I have all of my social up in the channel description. So you can check me out everywhere you'd like to. Support the channel in any way you'd like. And come find me on YouTube as well. Appreciate having you over there. I'm going to see now. I'm going to say hello to everybody. Goodbye to everybody. All right, I'm looking for 2 more subscribers to get to 50. I'd love to get to 50 subs. So please do a little subscribing. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Once I hit my 50 subs, I'm at the right place to be able to head down that road of monetization. So God bless you all, and thank you for that. And hey, hug your kids, hug your wife. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Thanks to everybody in the chat, especially the mods. Appreciate you. And I'll see you tomorrow night. Hey, Friday night on YouTube. So I'll see you tomorrow night on YouTube. Everyone else, I'll catch you back here next Thursday. All right. God bless.
I'm legally blind.
Oh my God! It was our job to help law enforcement. It was our job to help law enforcement.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Prof is a fucking terrorist. A fucking pedophile, sympathizing fucking terrorist.
Oh my God! I'm legally blind.
It was our job to help law enforcement.
Prof is a fucking terrorist.
It was our job to help law enforcement. It was our job to help law enforcement.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Prof is a fucking terrorist. A fucking pedophile, sympathizing fucking terrorist.
Oh my God! I'm legally blind.
It was our job to help law enforcement.
As an expert at being Mickey Mouse, yeah, I can say seriously, yeah, you're right, Rick. This is some Mickey Mouse bullshit. Thanks, Mickey. Hey, how's Donald? He's still on the stuff.